Hey, 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 happy Tuesday. Pull up a chair. Come on in. Damn, I had something stuck in my throat. That's great. That's a great way to open the show, huh? So, hey, 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 happy Tuesday. Come on in. Pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. Tonight is Tuesday, April 5th, 2022. This is live stream 773. So welcome aboard. Tonight, I am going to be taking a first look at the Star Trek Adventures Tricorder Collector's Box Set. And we are going to take a peek at this in just a bit after we tackle the news. This is from the fine folks over at Modiphius Entertainment. We'll be, like I said, diving in just a little bit. If this is your first time joining me, let me point out, super casual around here. We just hang out talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news and take a look at a tabletop gaming release. Every once in a while, do a review. But for the vast majority of the time, we take first looks at tabletop games, RPGs, board games, what have you. So, if you are tuning in tonight to check out the Star Trek Adventures Tricorder Collector's Box Set, relax. We tackle the tabletop gaming news first, so it'll be about 30 minutes or so. But if you are watching this after the fact, after this stream is ended, at least 30 minutes or more after it ends, you'll be able to jump right past the tabletop gaming news if you'd like, and you'll find timestamps not only in the show notes, you'll also find timestamps in the timeline of the video, depending on what kind of device you are watching this episode with. So keep that in mind as well. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my recent review of the RuneQuest starter set from Chaosium Inc. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. In fact, tonight, you'll be able to check out Sammy's review of the final chapter in the Strength of Thousands Pathfinder Adventure Path. That's right. And she really likes it. I'll give you a bit of a clue. And of course, this is a live stream. You already know that. So that means chat is available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do my best to pay attention to chat. Do also have to point out, you have to be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat as well. But if you want to say hello, have a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I'll do my best to respond. So far tonight, first out the gate was the Madman. Yes, the Motor City Madman is one of our chat moderators. And following the Madman was Flaming Huron, our other chat moderator. We've got Doug Roberts. Kathy Evans is with us again. Who else we got cooking? I think that's everybody we've got in chat so far. Nice. So I'm going to jump into the tabletop gaming news in just a moment. But first, I did want to mention that I had heard from one of our constant viewers, I guess we'll say, that they had had a health scare very recently. They thought it was possible they were having an issue heart related, and they went to, I guess, urgent care, the ER or something like that, and found out it was not anything serious. Everything was okay. And they had mentioned that one of the reasons why they actually went to seek assistance was because of me and my medical past, which I have talked about from time to time. I haven't talked about it in quite a while. But if you have not been following the Gaming Gang for very long, a little less than a year ago, I had a triple bypass. And prior to that, what was it, about 3 years before that, I had had a mild heart attack and had a stent put in, which reality is they should have done the bypass then. But, you know how doctors are these days, right? So all I want to say is, if something's going on and your body just doesn't feel right, if you're having a sensation that you've never had before and it's unpleasant, I guess it's important that I put that in there as well. Don't screw around. Don't mess around. Go to urgent care, go to an ER, go get it looked at. In fact, I was told by my cardiologist that when I had my initial heart attack, which they weren't grabbers. I've never had I remember watching Richard Pryor do a stand-up after, I think it was his second heart attack. And he was talking about how it drove him to the ground. And I mean, he couldn't breathe. I haven't had, knock on wood, one of those yet. So I was told when I had the first one, I took like 3 aspirin and then headed off. I drove myself to the ER. I know. But I thought, you know what? If this is just really bad indigestion or heartburn or something, I'll feel like a real idiot if I show up, in an ambulance. But I was told if I didn't take those aspirin and had gotten over to the ER, about 95% of the people who have that kind of heart attack don't survive it. I thought that was really weird. I just felt crappy. It felt like I had really bad heartburn. So I'm just telling people, if you have something going on, your body doesn't feel right, don't try to shake it off. Don't shake it off. Don't be like, I'll just go take a nap. I'll feel better. Keep an eye out for yourselves, please. It's important. It really is. It's very important. So, because, we don't have that many subscribers in the first place. I'm just messing. All righty. So Sarah D has popped out to wave hello. Mr. Eddie T is with us. Disavow 92 has joined us in chat as well. All right, so let's jump on into the news, because now on Kickstarter from Arcane Minis is the science fiction game Aldara. Here's the scoop. Welcome back to the vibrant world of Sordain, a massive and sprawling setting of diverse nations, cunning crime syndicates, bustling economies, and adventure everywhere. Lost more than 300 years ago to a powerful convergent storm, Aldara was left uninhabitable. Centuries later, the chaotic magical energies began to finally subside. Now Aldara is being claimed by those seeking wealth, land, and power. Suddenly, nations from all over Sordain's largest continent, Bordair, are sending fleets out. The first to stake their claim will reap the benefits, the power, the advancement, the riches. But who will emerge victorious? In Aldara, you play as one of the 4 mighty factions, warring for control of this long-lost nation. Each faction has its strengths and its history within the lore of Bordair. 3 to 4 players will select their faction and take as many paths as they can to emerge the new rulers of Aldara. Use your fleets to exterminate your opponents, complete secondary objectives, and build up victory points as you venture forth from your stronghold to explore new territories and expand your control. Manage and extract the resources and sordalite crystals you need to grow, replenish, and upgrade your forces. Strategically use the unique abilities of your faction to outmaneuver your opponents and gain control of this magical land. Aldara will feature over 150 massive and finely detailed minis, randomly generated hex tile maps, and variable starting positions that demand dynamic tactics from turn one and ensure no two games are the same. There is a short Kickstarter video. It's a little less, a few seconds less than 2 minutes. So let's get a better feel for what Aldara is all about.
Three centuries ago, the mighty nation of Aldara was lost. A convergent storm of cataclysmic proportions swept across the land, decimating the people who resided within its borders and leaving it uninhabitable. Now, Aldara is being reclaimed by those seeking wealth, land, and power. In Aldara, you play as a mighty faction, warring for control of this long-lost nation. Exterminate your opponents and complete secondary objectives to earn the victory points you need to win. Venture forth from your stronghold to explore new territories, expand your control, extract resources to grow, replenish, and upgrade your forces. Use each faction's unique abilities and strengths to strategically outmaneuver and crush your opponents. Randomly generated maps and variable starting positions demand dynamic tactics from turn one and ensure no two games are the same. Over 150 massive and finely detailed miniatures, 4 unique core factions, dozens of map tiles, and hundreds of cards and tokens combine for an epic, fast-paced 4X game experience that will dominate your table. Will you control the skies and conquer the land? The forgotten riches of Aldara are calling.
Aldara is, once again, for 3 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, and plays in 120 to 180 minutes. You can reserve a copy of the base game through April 28th. This is already 100% funded. You can pick it up for $135 as far as your pledge. There is also a much bigger pledge that you can get with expansions and things like that as well. So once again, you can pledge your support through April 28th. The expected delivery of the game is September of next year, so a bit of a ways out. So I thought the airships looked kind of cool with this game. I got to point out, Arcane Minis, as far as I understand, they are a new company. I think this is their first Kickstarter, so I'm just informing you of that as well. But you might want to check it out. Looks kind of interesting. So the Madman had pointed out, as far as, symptoms of something going on, better safe than sorry. Don't ignore symptoms. I guess the Madman worked with somebody who passed away from a massive heart attack while at work. And I got to admit, that has happened to me as well. I worked someplace. It was somebody from another department. I had no idea who they were. I mean, I had seen them. But yeah, same thing. They had passed away from a heart attack in the bathroom. And it was like, oh my gosh. All right, so let's keep moving on to some more entertaining and joyful sorts of things. One of my all-time favorite solitaire games, in fact, I'll be honest, it's one of my all-time favorite games, period, is getting a new print run from Asmodee. That's right, Dawn of the Zeds, 3rd edition, designed by my good friend Herman Lutman, is returning. Hooray! Here's the skinny on the new release. The postcards in every local drugstore read, "Welcome to Fabulous Farmingdale," an ad campaign that was the brainchild of Mayor Hernandez, who coincidentally employed his wife's public relations firm to market their community. But right now, things are far from fabulous in Farmingdale, and for once, everyone isn't blaming the mayor. Some kind of virus or poison is turning ordinary people into vicious, zombie-like killers. It's not clear how the disease spreads, though it seems that physical contact is certainly one way. But it is obvious that the illness does to its victims. These undead, nicknamed Zeds from the local newscast as the acronym for Zombie Epidemic Disease, are now converging on your corner of the world around Farmingdale. As best you can tell, you have been left to your own devices to stop them while the National Guard organizes a relief column. But that could be days, perhaps weeks, for them to fight their way to you. And until then, what can you do? With little choice between survival and a gruesome undeath, you realize that you must coordinate the defense of the town of Farmingdale and its surrounding villages. You must lead the good citizens and emerging heroes of these communities to the Zeds, to halt, I should say, the Zeds advance by re-killing them, attempt to coordinate the discovery of a cure to this vile scourge, and preserve as much of the area and as many of its inhabitants as possible. There's no time to lose. Dawn of the Zeds is for 1 to 5 players. It plays fantastically solitaire, by the way. Ages 14 and up, plays around 90 to 120 minutes, and it will carry an MSRP of $99 when it returns to stores on May 13th. Hooray! Yes, one of my all-time favorite games. I have reviewed all 3 editions of Dawn of the Zeds. I got to be honest, I am not positive what this is going to look like. I think it's going to be pretty much the same exact release that we had from Victory Point Games. Although, to be honest, I don't think really Victory Point Games exists anymore. Even though last I had heard, I think, wasn't it Tabletop Tycoon had bought them out? But then all these different designers who I know from their days with VPG, they were all getting the rights to their games back. That's why we've got some John Welsh games that are on the horizon that are being redone. And obviously enough, that's why we're seeing Dawn of the Zeds as well. I'm pumped. I'm excited. This has not been available for quite some time. And no word yet on if they're going to reprint or do a new print run of the expansions that were released for it when Victory Point Games was under Tabletop Tycoon. Actually, I think at that point they were still Game Salute. But we shall find out. At least we know the core game is returning. And I love Dawn of the Zeds. If you like zombie movies, you play that and every beat, every trope from zombie movies is there. And every game is different because you're not going to use the same event cards all the time. I will point out the edition that came out from Victory Point Games, the last one, the 3rd one, as well as what I think is coming from Asmodee, has all these different rule books. Don't let that scare you off from the game, because the game is not that difficult to learn how to play. All right, let's talk about some role-playing game news as Andy Sykes has joined us in chat. Welcome aboard, Andy. Vagrant Workshop's Equinox role-playing game is the focus of a money-saving offer over at Bundle of Holding. I've got the deets on the deal. Adventurer. This all-new Equinox bundle features Equinox, a future fantasy tabletop role-playing game setting from Vagrant Workshop of magic and mysticism in a war-ravaged dark future. Thousands of years in the future, long after humanity tamed the Mayan-predicted mystic circles that brought magic to its homeworld in colonies, demons from beyond the veil attack and destroy Earth. A century after that great Nether War, Sol System is a lawless place, a hive of misfits, lowlifes, refugees, pirates, and mystics. Sounds like the local bars that I hang out in. You are one of these restless, outcast vagrants who seek freedom in the void, hiding in magically maintained bases on asteroids and space stations, scraping by on the fringes of society. You rebel against a corrupt and oppressive consortium. Ride hybrid ships through astral space, wield awesome mystic powers, nether tech relics, and cutting-edge technology. Fight the nightmare monsters that invaded the universe. Oppose the fascist consortium and explore space beyond the veil. This offer presents the entire Equinox line as DRM-free PDF ebooks. Everything you need for a high-tech spacefaring fantasy at an unbeatable bargain price. For just $12.95, you'll get all 3 titles in the core collection that has a retail value of $50, including the complete system-neutral 216-page Equinox setting guide and 2 standalone rulebooks that take different approaches to the setting. The full features match system guide and the Rules Light story game guide. If you pay more than the threshold price of $25.99, you'll level up and also get the entire bonus collection with 6 more titles worth an additional $60, including the Elite Paths Character Rules expansion, the Location Source Books Gateway and the Protectorate, and the Pirate's Guide, the Adventure Packs Philo Shard and Patient Zero, and the aptly named supplement Bits and Pieces. These savings run through April 11th, and 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to this Equinox Offers pandemic-related charity, Direct Relief. Daha! I know absolutely nothing about this role-playing game. Nothing. Outside of what I just shared with you. But I will point out, it seems as if Bundle of Holding is not sharing a dead RPG for a change. In fact, we'll have some news about another Bundle of Holding that just launched. I think it was earlier today that it launched. That'll be on tomorrow's show. But this actually has a supplement that was released, I believe, in October of 2021. So even though I've never heard of this role-playing game does have some supplements for it, and it appears that Vagrant Workshop is still supporting this role-playing game. So that's interesting to see, because we'd been seeing a lot of, I know I don't want to sound rude saying it, but to me, if it's a role-playing game that's not being supported by its publisher, or the publisher's no longer around, to me, that's a dead RPG. So, but this one looks like it's something that's still being supported. Moving right along, following a successful Kickstarter, 9th Level Games has released the Savage Sisters role-playing game. Here's the latest. A narrative sword and sorcery tabletop role-playing game about women making a difference in a barbaric world. Does your heart beat faster at the mention of Xena, Warrior Princess, Red Sonja, or the venerable Jorel of Joré? I think that's how that character's name is pronounced. Do you long for tales of mighty women facing insurmountable odds? Become a part of that story in Savage Sisters. Become part of a family of powerful women who look out for one another and try to defend the world. Savage Sisters is a shared GM polymorph game. Together, the group creates their Sodal, a group of powerful warrior women who are bound together in sisterhood. This is their history. Each Savage Sister is a legendary character of the Sodal's past that we are sharing tales of, told across a roaring fire on some far future night. Savage Sisters is available right now. You can score the zine-sized release from 9th Level Games for $14.99, or you can grab the PDF over at Drive-Thru RPG for the same price, $14.99. Found that kind of odd. That's both the same price for the physical book as well as the PDF. You may recall that I reviewed Mazes from Ninth Level Games, and it is one of the polymorph mechanic designs. And I think I loved it. I thought it was great. And I honestly really do think that the polymorph system, where depending on the kind of character class you're playing, determines what die you're going to use. I think it is a perfect introduction to role-playing games for either younger players or people who've got absolutely no idea what's going on with RPGs. Definitely something to take a peek at. Mr. Eddie T says, Mazes is a good game. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I would have liked to have seen more support for it from Ninth Level Games, because I really haven't heard much about it. Mr. Eddie T says they bought it based on my review. Very cool. That's something we're going to talk a little bit about after I finish up my last news piece. Rebellion Unplugged has brought the Jenga-based role-playing game Dread to the world of 2000 AD with Dread. Here's what I know. As the iron fist of the Justice Department tightens its grip on the people of Megacity 1, there stirs once again movement towards democracy. As pro-democracy agitators, now is the time to take a stand for self-governance. Because now you have Walter, a former Justice Department droid and somewhat reluctant co-conspirator, who is damaging information about the judges. Information the public must hear. And you will deliver it to them today at the opening game of the first Aeroball season in decades. All of Megacity 1 will be watching. The judges will be unable to preemptively shut down the broadcast for fear of citywide riots. It's the perfect opportunity. Never has democracy stood a better chance. Designed specifically for 2000 AD's 45th anniversary by original Dread writer Epidiah Ravachol, Dread brings the Emmy award-winning RPG to the iconic world of 2000 AD's Judge Dredd. One player takes on the role of the host, tasked with representing the mayhem and magnificence of Megacity 1 and its inhabitants. The other players act as characters living in the shadow of the Statue of Judgment, doing whatever it takes to thrive and survive. Of course, surviving isn't always so easy. When the players are faced with difficult or dangerous actions, they must pull wooden blocks from a tower to discover whether they succeed. If the tower comes crashing down, their character dies. The stakes are high when you take on the judges, but there is some hope in your new character abilities, reflecting the city's wide range of inhabitants. This PDF contains everything you need to run this standalone adventure. Adapted Dread rules, pre-generated characters, the adventure booklet, and an encounter list for the host to refer to throughout the game. Just add a block tower in your gaming group and you're good to go. The 38-page PDF of Dread is available at Drive-Thru RPG for $9.89. I found this very interesting that it is a role-playing game that is painting the judges and the judicial system of Megacity 1 as the villains. I am not used to seeing that. So, interesting. This could be kind of fun for a one-shot. So I want to say, I think Rebellion Unplugged features some role-playing games that are like one-shot adventures or like one-shot systems along the same lines. As far as I understand, Rebellion actually publishes 2000 AD and Judge Dredd and Rogue Trooper and Strongium Dog. Isn't that another of the 2000 AD characters. So I think this is their like gaming division, kind of like Skybound has their like game division. Like I said, could be kind of interesting, and you can pick it up over at Drive-Thru RPG. Speaking of Drive-Thru RPG, don't forget the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit Drive-Thru RPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you appreciate thegaminggang.com, if you value what we do, you can always buy me a cup of coffee or some soda by swinging on over to paypal.me/thegaminggang and making a small donation. Once again, don't forget, I don't run Kickstarters. I don't reach into your pockets to stick around here. So then again, that's one of the reasons why, it is the Duct Tape Studios. It's not like I'm using the, greatest equipment and things like that. Like we have problems with that damn Sony camera. You behaved last night, so I'm going to be nice. Behave tonight, please. Anyway, so before we jump on in and take a look at Star Trek Adventures, the Tricorder Collector's box set, that's a mouthful. I wanted to point out, Mr. Eddie T was mentioning that they had picked up mazes from 9th level games based on my review. I want to point out, if you purchase games that are based, the buying decision is influenced by one of our reviews, I ask, let the publisher know. Let the publisher know, because to be very honest, most of them do not know which reviewers actually help them sell stuff, which reviewers it's just like, well, there it is. So it's very important for you to keep that in mind. So, I don't expect people to do that every time they purchase something based on one of my reviews or one of the rest of the gang's reviews, like we have over on thegaminggang.com that you never really get to catch here on the show. Let the publisher know. Also, people ask me all the time, how come I haven't reviewed this game or that game or what have you? I really don't reach out to companies much anymore. It's just, there's so many people out there doing this. Every time you turn around, there's another new reviewer who's got a channel and video and everything else. So I kind of shy away from like reaching out. If you really want a company to consider having the Gaming Gang review stuff, reach out to them. Got to remember that you're a customer. They look at correspondence with a customer differently than a reviewer, because vast majority of the time, reviewers approach companies with their hand out, right? I can't tell you the number of times I had been at Origins or Gen Con and I'm chatting with somebody from a company and somebody else comes strolling up who, is a reviewer, and, they right out will just say, hey, I'm so-and-so from whatever, and I'd really like to review this game, that game. I've actually had some people interrupt me when I'm having a conversation with somebody from a company that I'm pals with. It's like, man, talk about rude. Well, I don't have much time, man. I got to try to get all the free shit I can. So like I said, if you buy something from a game company and that decision was based on a review of ours, let them know. Shoot them a quick email. Send it to their contact department or, contact email address. And if there's a company that you really would love to see me do reviews of, or the rest of the gang do reviews for, reach out to them. I get contacted by companies all the time asking me to take a look at stuff. And on occasion, I have had companies say, hey, I've had some of our customers tell us about your outlet. We didn't know about it. So, kind of cool. 245 Trioxin is with us in chat as well. So tonight, I am going to be taking a first look at the Star Trek Adventures Tricorder Collector's box set. But first, a short intermission.
The machine turns out delicious hot.
As everyone knows, rainbow treasure at the end. Let's follow this one and see if we can find the pot of gold.
Oh, there, and I suppose you've come to claim me treasure.
Well, we'd like to see the gold first.
Ethan, there's better than gold in here, me lad. No, just look here, no.
Candy, refreshing soft drinks, popcorn, ice cream. Well, that's some treasure, but anyone can buy luscious treats like these at the snack bar.
You don't tell me. Do you suppose you could get me a job as a snack bar attendant?
Ta-da! I love how Disavow 92 wrote, let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. I actually have that. In fact, that was like, I think that was the first of the videos that I like cleaned up the sound. And actually, I have never seen that in sync. It's always out of sync. So I synced it up. And sure enough, if I share that, I get a copyright flag. So I don't share it. I know. And that's one of my all-time favorites of the intermission cartoons with the, little marching candy and stuff. And it's gotta be late 40s, I think. I think it's one of the earlier color like cartoons for intermission. And it's actually pretty nicely animated as well. All right. So tonight I am going to be unboxing and taking a first look at Star Trek Adventures Tricorder Collector's box set from the fine folks over at Modiphius Entertainment. This is a collector's item, not of the sort of last night's where we were looking at the Beetle and Grimm's Absalom City of Lost Omens for Pathfinder, the gold edition, which had a MSRP of $349. But this is a collector's item, and it does carry an MSRP of $89.99. It is available now. Coco B has joined us, talking about the intermission police. No, it's just the copyright police over at YouTube. And I got to be honest, I don't know how much I trust some of these claims on copyright, because I actually have a video I shared for a Warhammer 40K game, and I embedded it into a news piece, so it's on my channel, and I constantly get notified of people using that video and violating my copyright. And it's like, I don't own that video. It's like, came from Games Workshop. So I don't know. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera, because here I've got the Tricorder Collector's Box Set. Let's get the plastic off, get the shrink off. I've been looking forward to checking this out. I really have. Okay, so it looks like this is actually just a sheet that was on the back. So let's see what we've got here. The Star Trek Adventures role-playing game, ready for any landing party. Star Trek Adventures transports you into the role of a Starfleet officer, going boldly and exploring the final frontier, where you can create original characters and crew your own Starfleet vessel. This Tricorder box set opens like the Tricorder from the original series with a fabric strap, giving you the ability to wear the box as an accessory. Perfect for cosplaying and Star Trek Adventure games on the go. That talks about what we've got in the box. So that's kind of cool. I do think it's kind of wild that we've got these little hooks here where you're going to put a strap. So let's see. It opens up. Oh, there we go. Okay. So it opens up like that. This is our shoulder. Holy cow. Okay, so here's the shoulder strap. And I was thinking this was just going to be some, cheapo fabric or something. Does not look like that at all. Jeez. There you go. It's kind of like a faux leather. But that's funny. So, of course, these are metal clips. These aren't plastic clips. So, of course, the clips will hook on here. Wow, that's just wild. I think that's pretty funny. So, Flaming Heron says the box will break before that strap. Yes, I agree. I was thinking the same thing. But this box is plastic. It's not cardboard. And you have an outer box here, and it looks like we've got an inner box as well. So let's see what we've got inside. So I had assumed that the rule book is going to be a digest. Well, it's not digest size, but it's pocket edition sized. So we've got that. I think we've got an adventure here as well. Got a bunch of dice. We also have some tokens. All right, so that's what we've got inside this set. But I gotta say, this is very solid. It'll hold up, and it's got a magnetic clasp there. Once again, this is for collectors. Everybody playing Star Trek Adventures isn't gonna run out and pick this up. And even though it says, "Oh, it's great for cosplay," I mean, I don't think you would have too many people using this as their cosplay tricorder, right? And then here we have that belt again. So let's see what we've got. All right, come on. So we got a bunch of D20s and D6s. So we've got 5 20-siders, and is the 20 going to be like a Starfleet symbol? There we go. Okay, so no, the 1. The 1 is a Starfleet symbol. There's the 20 right there. I'd say these are decent dice. And of course, they're painted in. And then we've got some what are usually considered to be averaging dice. They're not true. There are 6 sides on dice, but they're not numbered 1 to 6. So we've got the Star Trek symbol on 2 sides. Look like we've got 1 hit, and then 2 hits, and then 2 blank sides on these. And we've got 10 of those. Yep. So plenty of dice for you to be able to play Star Trek Adventures. I reviewed Star Trek Adventures when it first came out. In fact, when I reviewed it, it was only out in PDF. And I remember the PDF originally had the black background. And I think Star Trek Adventures is a really good system. It is, as far as I know, because I have not checked out every Modiphius Entertainment 2D20 role-playing game out there. But as far as I understand, this is kind of the lightest of the 2D20. And then, of course, we've got crunchier 2D20 releases as well. But the reason why this is relatively light, well, lightweight compared to other 2D20 systems is because of Star Trek. So you're going to bring in people who don't have a lot of experience with role-playing games. You're going to bring them into the fold because they're big Star Trek fans. Let me grab a quick sip here. So we've got some tokens. So we got red alert tokens, dual-sided. And then we've got this one here, which shows the United Federation of Planets. So those are the two tokens there. We've got the Keyhole of Eternity, which obviously is an adventure. My understanding is I think this is focused more towards the original series with this collector set. So we've got the USS Enterprise and crew. We'll take a look at these last. So here we got the stats. Yep, there we go. It's the original series. One of the aspects of Star Trek Adventures I really appreciate is it tackles all Trek. In fact, the only one that it wasn't covering was Discovery. And just recently, I guess Modiphius Entertainment came to an agreement with CBS Paramount, and now the Discovery series is going to be included in Star Trek Adventures as well. So I would assume in the future, we'll probably see some Picard and Strange New Worlds. So I thought that was really, really cool that now they have, and I know we had our little discussion about Star Trek a little bit the other day and how I don't really care for this season of Discovery. Although I started watching Picard, and I have enjoyed some of the throwbacks, some of the callbacks to like Star Trek 4, things like that. So I've enjoyed it. I mean, it's not fantastic. I am really looking forward to Strange New Worlds, though. I think that'll be kind of interesting. Although once again, it's going to be a deal where it's all these special effects. This is going to be all this technology that they didn't have in the original series, and it takes place before the original series. Flaming Red says, we don't talk about Discovery. Okay, so here's the Enterprise. Somebody I've never heard of. Lieutenant Tpren. So we can see that this is the original series with the uniforms here. So I guess we're not. Oh, yeah, I guess we will. Because here's Lieutenant Commander Jatan. And then we have Ensign Chapel. But there's no artwork on it? No, I guess not. That's unusual, I think. So there's Christine Chapel, and then Conflict Momentum Spends. And I think it's on all of these must be NPCs for the adventure, is what I'm thinking. So it says USS Lexington and crew. So we've got Commander Ryder. You mean Riker? No, Ryder. Or Ritter. Could be Ritter. So we've got Ensign Pavel Chekhov. And then they get the security oversight and tactical reference. So Mr. Eddie T says, is asking, what, no red shirts? Oh, I'm sure we'll see one. Because there's got to be. There's Kirk. So here's the commanding officer reference. It's kind of cool how they're doing this. I would have liked to have seen some art, though. But having this on the back of the character sheet, which is like their kind of their focal point, is kind of cool. Anyway, we have to have a red shirt because Lieutenant Commander Montgomery Scott, he's a red shirt. So there we go. And we get a rule summary on the back of that one. Okay. Then we got Sulu, Helmet navigation reference. We have Captain Moore. Okay, so there we go. So there we've got, it's another NPC. Lieutenant Uhura. We get the communications and internal systems reference. And last but not least, Dr. McCoy. And conflict is on the back of that. So that's kind of interesting that, oh, here we go. Damn you, Sony camera, with your glitching. And it's not like this was a cheap camera. So it's like, not like this was a $600 camera. And of course, we've got Spock. And Spock has sensors and internal systems reference. All right. So these are nice. And cardstock is very nice. These should hold up fairly well. So there we've got that. What was on the back of this? The Lexington, maybe? Yep. The USS Lexington. It's one of the, I'm going to take a guess. It looks like it was Constitution class. Yeah, NCC. Doug Roberts. Doug says, damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a scientist. Yes, we used to do that gag all the time in high school. It was always, damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a gas station attendant. So we got the Rules Digest. Let's take a peek. And this is, like I said, this is kind of a pocket edition size here. So it's not A5. It's a little bigger than A5. But the way it's actually laid out, this should hold up fairly well at the table, from what I can see. This is the first Star Trek Adventures book I've actually had my hands on. Like I said before, I reviewed the original when it was released as a single hardcover, but it was the PDF that I reviewed. And I'm glad that they've got the white background, not the black background with the white text, because that was hard on the eyes. I've seen various different companies do that, and it sounds like a good idea, especially if it's like a space game or science fiction game, have that black background with white text. But man, it's hard on your eyes after a while. Right, so it looks like we've got a bunch of background about the world of Star Trek. So it looks like what we're kind of taking a peek through here. And then we get into an introduction on page 52. I cannot change the laws of physics. I've got to have 30 minutes. Yes, that was Mr. Scott there, of course. All right, so we get a breakdown of some discussion about the rules, threats, challenges, and then it looks like we're jumping on into character creation. So when I was taking a look at the original release, because I believe now it is 2 books. So you have a player's book and you have a game master's book. And I don't know what's changed. I don't know if they've just taken the original core book and just split it in half, or if the 2 new volumes, because this is like within the last year, if the 2 new volumes are kind of updated, they've been updated a bit, new artwork, things like that, because Star Trek Adventures has been out for a while. It's got to be at least 5 years. I have to say, it's pretty incredible to see how far Modiphius Entertainment has come. Because I remember I reviewed their first adventures that came out. They were doing their Achtung Cthulhu, which was based on Call of Cthulhu, but of course, World War II. And now to see all the stuff, they've got the Fallout role-playing game. They've got the Elder Scrolls miniatures game. They've got, of course, Star Trek is a big seller for them. Conan, which we'll be talking about a couple of bundle of holdings that are going on right now with the Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed Of. Doesn't look like this is very heavy on art, although I am jumping a bunch of pages at a time, so it might be I'm just kind of missing it. But it looks like we've got everything pretty well covered here. Starship combat. One of the aspects I remember from my review when Star Trek Adventures first came out was how I really appreciated the fact that all the players, depending on where they, what their status was and what departments they're with, what their stations are, everybody has something to do in, like Starship combat and stuff like that. I really dug that. I like that a lot. All right. So, oh, wait a second. Character creation's back here? Because it looks like we're in a game oh, no, it's a game master section. I was going to say, wait, what? There we go. There's the old Enterprise. Or maybe not, because the numbers are scorched off. So it could be one of a dozen of the Constitution class. So creating missions, NPCs, and locations, talking about NPCs and adversaries, alien artifacts. So I'll tell you what, I am actually going to do a review of this collector's box set because, as I had mentioned, I never saw a physical book for Star Trek Adventures until now. So the other thing I'd be curious about, because this is a rules digest, I'm wondering what differences are there. Now, we clocked in at 304 pages, but that's including an index in the back. I'm kind of curious, what are the differences between the hardcover books? Yeah, the hardcore books, man. We're real trekkers around here. We don't let anybody call anybody Trekkies, because we're hardcore. Kind of curious what the difference between this rules digest and those 2 volumes that are in hardcover or in PDF. You can get it in PDF as well. Kind of curious because I'm taking a wild stab that the page count is far higher with the two hardcovers combined. All right, let's take a look at this adventure here. The Keyhole of Eternity. So the paper stock for this is a little lighter, which I can understand because this is not something that's going to see as much use at the table. So Testy Trekkie has popped in and they've fired off a super chat. Thank you very much. Saying that they're excited to catch the tail end of this stupid work meetings. Well, the stream will be over in just a bit and you will be able to jump back and catch it from the beginning. But welcome aboard. I believe this is the first time that I'm guessing it's Testy Trekkie has joined us in chat. So welcome aboard. So here we've got an introduction to the adventure. This is another role-playing game that is kind of broken down into scenes. We've talked about that a little bit in the past. So we've got different acts. So the way the adventures kind of play out is almost as if they are episodes of one of the series. Now you can have multiple episodes in a story arc. So talking about that. So we've got a few different acts, it looks like. So we have Shadows and Whispers. The Way Out is In. Okay, now that's still the third act of that. Breaking the Lock. So it looks like we've got, this might be a 3-part adventure, or it is 3 separate adventures. Another aspect of Star Trek Adventures that I really like to see from Modiphius Entertainment is this is a very well-supported role-playing game. You've got new adventures coming out in PDF all the time. You've got a Klingon book, which is essentially if you wanted to play as Klingons, and it is the full rule book, but all geared towards the Klingon Empire, which I thought was very cool. And there were some folks out there who were kind of like, so is this just the rule book and you've got like a few chapters about Klingons in it? It's like, no, it is like a full-fledged separate rule book that focuses on the Klingon Empire if you're looking to really base adventures in the Klingon Empire or have Klingon characters. This is very nice. So we've got the adventure book here. What was that, like 32 pages? Oh, I'm sorry, 43 pages. A little longer than I thought. We've got the 300-plus page rules digest. A couple of tokens, punch boards with tokens. We've got a variety of NPCs and pre-gens of the original series crew. But one of the things that I think is kind of cool the way this is laid out is that, of course, obviously I'll have to take a look at the adventure. It's possible that these are actually your pre-gen characters and you would be using, all right, let's find Bones. Or, okay, we'll use Ensign Chapel. You might actually use these as, these might be NPCs in the adventure. So the original series crew might be just NPCs in the adventures, possibly. But you would actually have that as your character, and this is your, like, just reference. It's possible. I don't know. But I think it's kind of interesting how the NPCs have some artwork, or if they're pre-gens, they have artwork, and then we have their stat block. And then for the original series crew, we have stat blocks on one side, and then we have these references on the other. I thought that's kind of interesting, kind of cool. Different. It's unique. put that there, put this here. And we'll slip all of this back into the box. First of all, let me get, there's the bag here. Actually, I think this is a different bag. I just grabbed one to put the dice into. All right, come on. And then, of course, if you tuned in late and you missed the box that has the strap, the box that looks like a tricorder when you open it up. Okay, let's slip this stuff back on in. So once again, I will have a review of this collector set of both the digest-sized rules, or I believe it just says it's the rules digest, as well as the adventure. And then there's the strap that you can use for the tricorder box here. And that is everything with the Star Trek Adventures Tricorder Collector's Box Set from Modiphius Entertainment. Once again, this is available now. You can order it. Carries an MSRP of $89.99. And of course, stay tuned. I will have a review of the Digest Rulebook and the adventure in the very near future. If you are watching and you actually know what the difference is between the Rules Digest and the 2 volumes for the core books for Star Trek Adventures, let me know in the comments because I'm kind of curious. Kind of curious what the difference would happen to be. All right, that is it for this time out. On tomorrow's show, it is going to be a War Game Wednesday because we're going to unbox and take a first look at Plains Indian Wars from GMT Games. This looks unique. This looks different. So I'm looking forward to this. Mr. Eddie T is asking MSRP. I assume he's asking about the collector's box set. It is $89.99. And here's the strange thing. It's more expensive on the Modiphius site. I think it's like $94.99. I thought I saw it on the Modiphius site. But everywhere else, the MSRP is $89.99. And of course, if you go to online retailers, I'm not making you go anyplace, right? I'm not sponsored by anybody. So if you have a friendly local game store that you love and they have it or they can order it, by all means, get it there. If you need to save a few bucks, and a lot of us do, take a look online because I know you can get it for less than $89.99. So there is that. It's all up to you. All up to you. Anyway, so we're going to take a look at the Plains Indian Wars tomorrow. And then next week, it's going to be all war games. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to take a look at some of the new stuff that's come out from GMT Games. And then I think the following week, I am going to take off. Because, once every quarter, I usually take a week off to kind of just recharge the batteries and that. And then I usually shoot a bunch of reviews during that week. So I think that's what's going to happen. All righty then. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my recent review of the RuneQuest starter set. Big thumbs up. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more, including tonight's review of the final chapter of the Strength of Thousands Pathfinder Adventure Path. Sammy has a review. It will be up later on this evening. So take a peek as she tells you how the Strength of Thousands concludes. All right, those of you who watch live, thank you very much. Always appreciate it. Thank you to Testy Trekkie for the super chat. That is appreciated as well. Those of you who hung out live, thanks. And if you took part in chat, a bigger thank you. I'm telling you, you guys are just building up all those experience points. You're going to level up one of these days. That's why you come and hang out for the show, because just for the experience points, it's just for the XPs. Of course, I know a lot of people don't have an opportunity to watch the stream live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. I really, really tip the cap to all of you out there who take time out to check out any of the videos on the Gaming Gang channel. Everybody enjoy the rest of your evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time it is in your neck of the woods. And until I see you next time, hopefully tomorrow, here's always hoping that each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. Check out the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for watching.